Speaking of health, speaking of rejuvenation, we have the scaffolding as we unravel the lifestyle in a holistic way. We have special speakers that I have the privilege of welcoming. If you would help me, invite them. Yes, you know how. Yes. No? Students in the back there? Are you with us? That corner table. Yes, you guys. Can you go like this? Can you stand up? You guys. Yes. Can you make some noise? Woo! Thank you. We have a special guest coming all the way from Vietnam. If I could welcome Huyen. Okay, Huyen is not well. Welcoming the lovely professor all the way from Israel, Meira Levy. It's my pleasure to invite her yet again. We had the privilege of having her at the Women Economic Forum annual edition in New Delhi. She's with us again. A senior lecturer from the Shankar College of Engineering and Design. It's an honor to have you with us. Welcoming Melanie Joy. Melanie couldn't be here in person, but she's sent a video message, which we will watch in a few moments. Arvind Kumar Shankar. Arvind, are you with us? Krishna Kumar. Meira, looks like you have the stage to yourself. Oh my God. Who's coming? Please give it up for Mr. Arvind Kumar Shankar, an industrialist, builder and promoter of a construction company called Arvind Construction, you may have heard of, and a cultural ambassador. It's an honor to have you with us, sir. Would you be happy to initiate this discussion on holistic lifestyles? He says no. Okay, ladies first. It's my pleasure to welcome to speak with us, her journey, Meira Levy. Like I said, she's a senior lecturer at the Shankar College and also heads the entrepreneurship and innovation track at the Engineering and Management College for the Shankar University. Welcoming you, Meira.
Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Arvind. Thank you, Mamta, for this great, warm hospitality and welcome. I really, yeah, it's amazing, really, beyond expectations. Good afternoon. It's my third time at WEF, actually. I've come before with a delegation of students who couldn't come this year, but we really appreciate this league and all the efforts, and it's really a remarkable organization. I'll speak a bit about a new domain I've entered lately. From a personal perspective, I know two medical students, my daughters at home. Both of them got good education, how important it is to communicate with patients and to be empathic to their needs. However, when they face reality while observing clinicians at work, they realize the stress and the anxiety prevail, and there is really not much time to devote to empathy and communication beyond handling the immediate symptoms and clinical state. I work at Shankar, which is a college of engineering, design, and art. I believe that when design, engineering, and health services interact, we can provide holistic services that contribute to the well-being of clinicians as well as patients. The more the user experience is improved, new technology will be assimilated and used. The health system suffers from a known gap between shortage of resources and high demand. New available resources will never catch up the extending demand. This leads to a burnout of clinicians, causing them to step out of the profession, and even worse. The American Science Organization, as well as the British Medical Council, have acknowledged the importance of well-being of clinicians and its huge influence on the quality of the treatment, as well as keeping the clinicians in the system. These principles challenge people who are in charge of guidelines and medical organizations and point at the need to develop new models that will use also technology for bridging the identified gap in practice as well as in education. However, in the health system, although new technologies have emerged, they have little, if at all, effect on the population health or on the clinician's well-being. Design thinking is a method and approach for developing ideas that in the context of technological system development puts the person in the center, realizes the actual human needs and addresses with empathic attitude the emotional, cognitive, and behavioral aspect of the solution. The design thinking method fosters creativity and promotes the creation of innovative ideas. Design thinking embraces methods that take into consideration diverse stakeholders that relate to the challenge, their thoughts, feelings, to empathy maps, and behavior to customer journeys. Design thinking has been in practice in the design world, where emphasis is placed on human investigating and understanding. Lately, it has emerged into the technological world, where people have realized that a technical solution, even the better one, will not be good enough to create real impact unless the human aspects are studied and realized before and during the technological development. In particular, in our era, where uncertainty regarding which technologies will replace human work, how our society will look like in the near future, how cultural and norms change, etc. Employing design thinking is critical since the standard known analytical models are not good enough anymore. We lack analytical tools for understanding the mission with all its aspects and implications. Health technology that will not address all the human aspects will not have real impact eventually. We need to work with clinicians as well as with patients to develop innovative solutions which enhance their experience, hence involving them from the first stage of development. For example, realize the journey that, for example, a diabetic patient goes in their everyday activities as well as in the health systems. Learning the important junctions where technology can help is critical for enhancing the patient's experience and well-being. At Shankar, College of Engineering, Design and Art, we have recently opened a new research center for advancing research that aim at providing the integrated forces of engineering design researchers to promote health services that are human-centered. We believe that the diverse perspective while employing design thinking can bring new solutions to new challenges. We focus on well-being as a holistic framework that addresses the medical, emotional, and cognitive aspects of the stakeholders, whether they are clinicians or patients. Therefore, we announce on the center's name as Health in the Fold, Health, Human Healing, combining technology, design thinking for well-being of patients and clinicians. We have several projects already, such as creating a personalized scheduling system for physicians, preventive medicine application based on gamification, baby health card that comes to rural areas, etc. Lately, we have started a new project for developing a coaching system for cancer patients. We are focusing mainly on their emotional state and seek new options to reduce the stress and anxiety. I look forward to collaboration here in India and other places. Whoever is interested to join forces with us, to approach or email me for further discussions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Meira, for representing the women of Israel and the people of Israel, that tiny but very potent country that stands at the helm of innovation and design for the world. Yes, yes, she does invite us very generously because she's planning something, something. She is indeed in association with her college, with the Shankar College, planning a Women Economic Forum in Israel. And she is inviting you to her beautiful, historical, mystical country. When? When? 2021, Israel! Can we have the video, please? Dr. Melanie Joy's video. She couldn't be here, but she sent us a video. She's the founder and president, Beyond Carnism, an advocate for veganism, vegetarianism, and healing that brings from Germany. Could you play the video, please?
Thank you for the incredible honor of being granted the Women of the Decade Award in Sustainability and Animal Rights. And thank you for all that you do to help create a better world for all beings. It's vital that those of us who are working to create a more just world include in our circle of compassion the billions of sentient beings with whom we share the planet. Individuals who can feel pain and pleasure, just like we can. Individuals who have lives that matter to them, just like we do. Individuals who are being needlessly and brutally slaughtered. In fact, in just 1 week, more animals are killed than the total number of people killed in all wars throughout history in the name of animal agriculture. And according to the United Nations, animal agriculture is one of the most significant contributors to some of the most serious environmental problems facing the world today. But despite the severity of the problem, rarely are animals, and in particular farmed animals, part of conversations about creating a better world. And the main reason for this omission is Carnism. Carnism is the invisible belief system or ideology that conditions us to eat certain animals. So I thank you for inviting me to share my research on Carnism with the many compassionate and committed individuals who are part of the Women Economic Forum community. I came to my work on Carnism through my own personal experience. Like many people, I grew up with a dog who I loved, and like most people, I cared about animals and would never want to cause them to suffer, especially when that suffering was so intensive and so completely unnecessary. But I also grew up eating meat, eggs, and dairy products. And then in 1989, I became extremely ill from eating a contaminated hamburger, and I just couldn't eat meat after that. So I became a vegetarian and then a vegan, sort of by accident. Learning about my new diet, of course, led me to information about animal agriculture. And what I learned shocked me. But what shocked me perhaps even more was that nobody I talked to about what I had learned was willing to hear what I had to say. They'd say, "Don't tell me that you'll ruin my meal," or they'd call me a crazy vegan hippie propagandist. They'd say things like I was trying to take away their freedom of choice, that dairy production didn't harm animals, even though they were largely uninformed about this most brutal of practices. They'd say fish didn't have nerve receptors or intelligence, which science has shown to be untrue. They'd argue that eating meat, eggs, and dairy was normal, natural, and necessary. Arguments that were frighteningly reminiscent of those that have been used to justify male dominance and other oppressions. They'd say vegans were overly sensitive and therefore irrational, which is precisely what had been said about women who were advocating for the right to vote. And in fact, the emotions of sadness and moral outrage are healthy and appropriate responses to the global atrocity that is Carnism. Much more concerning is the epidemic apathy of the dominant culture. They'd argue that vegans were biased without ever considering the bias of the dominant carnistic culture, which means, for example, that when we study nutrition, we actually study carnistic nutrition. So I became very curious as to how rational, compassionate people could become so irrational and uncaring when it came to eating animals. And this is what led me to carry out my doctoral research and identify Carnism. Carnism is structured like other oppressive systems, such as patriarchy and classism. It runs counter to core human values such as compassion and justice. So carnism needs to use psychological defense mechanisms that distort our perceptions and disconnect us from our natural empathy toward animals so that we act against our values without realizing what we're doing. In other words, carnism teaches us how not to think or feel when it comes to the animals we've learned to classify as edible. Carnism is why we may look at a piece of chicken and see food and feel appetized, but if we were told that that same meat was actually from a dog, we'd suddenly see it for what it is, a dead animal, and feel disgusted. But there's good news. With awareness of carnism, we can step outside of the system and free our hearts and minds. And there are simple ways to do this. Commit to making every meal as vegan as possible. And become a vegan ally. Even if you're not fully vegan yet, support veganism and vegans. Use your influence, your voice, your skills, your charitable donations to aid in the transformation of carnism. Thank you again for this award. Thank you for your compassion, and thank you for being a part of the solution.
This is interesting what she said, to become a vegan ally. We don't have to be one. We don't have to resonate with the same values as long as we support them and understand them. So you're not judging another who is vegetarian or vegan. So I think that was a really valuable lesson that Melanie represented through her talk. I'd like to invite Arvind Kumar Shankar, a cultural ambassador and a name synonymous with the landscape of Madurai. People from Madurai, you know Arvind Constructions. He was the first one to build apartments in the temple town. It's an honor to have you with us, sir. Representing the construction company, Arvind Constructions.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Mamta, Meira, and team for thinking of me to address this forum. We are talking about art and culture, Indian culture and its greatness, glory, antiquity, and the history. Why do we have to conserve it? Why do we have to take it forward to the next generation? What is the reason? Why? Even, many of our students find history very boring, but still, why is history a subject in our curriculum? Art, culture. Before answering that question, let's talk about holistic living and relate everything together towards the end of these few minutes. Holistic life. When we talk of the holistic life, we should understand our ancient culture, which deals with several planes and parts of our being, which many people don't seem to be aware of. Like when we have a life which is considered to be a healthy life. So which life is healthy? The physical life? Some people have their physical life very healthy and their mental life is very bad. That exposure is not up to the mark. Some people have their mental life very healthy and physical life very healthy, but the emotional life is completely gone. So I'm just dealing with the three planes of your being, and our Indian culture and way of life is so beautifully planned and so sensitive in the past that it has dealt with all these planes of the being, making our life a holistic life. Like today, you take a few decades back, the way of life in India or in this region, people get up early in the morning and they do Surya Namaskaram which helps us completely with our body and exposes us to the morning sun and helps us get our vitamin D directly. And then we move on to have our breakfast, which is very important. Today people say we shouldn't go without breakfast. So that was the very important part of our cuisine, Indian cuisine, where when they say you have to have either baked food and raw coconut and lentils, we have always been very familiarly eating our idlis, our chutney, our sambar, our pongal, seems to be catering to all what today's modern doctors are saying. So then after that, we go to our school education, our Vedic education, our Pathshala system was one of the best, where the child was completely capsuled from the outside world till a certain age, when he completely developed intellectually. And then after that comes our various forms of art. Every household by default was made to learn music in some form or the other, be it the Anglo-Indians, be it the South Indians, the North Indians. They played the veena, the flute, the sitar, and the guitar, the piano, everything. So that completely, and needlework was, and you take practices like religious practices, everything catered to our emotional life, gave us a sense of emotional balance, and gave us a complete sense of satisfaction, which definitely, when it became absent in Indian scenario, a lot of perversion set in. They needed their ventilation for their pressures in life. Every area they were getting burnt out, and that is the reason for our crime rates to go up, our human sensitivity to go up, and the vicious circle got completely cut off. So I would like to reiterate that we propagate art and culture with a reason, and with the purpose of adding pride to our children, so that art and culture has an impact in their self-esteem. Why self-esteem? To give you better self-respect, which is now really lying low with many people. And because of the self-respect improving, I'm sure all our children will improve drastically in their self-confidence, and that will make us get a much better India. And so, with the purpose of that, we have started various organizations in Madurai and southern regions, where we have to take it to schools. We formed various heritage clubs in schools, where we have these interactive sessions which have had a major impact on them to understand the greatness of us. We don't know our worth. I can tell you that for sure. How many of us know that this Madurai is the birthplace of the oldest language in the world? And how many of us know that it may be debatable that Madurai is the oldest continuously existing city in the world? And if a city has existed for thousands of years, what a melting point it would be of various cultural forms. And if there are so many people who have come, we have had, as far as we know, a few hundred years before us, we have had the Mughals, we've had the Kalabras, we've had the Vijayanagara kings, we've had all the Nayaks, and we've had, so many people rule us. And how did all that happen? We believed in living and let live and coexistence, and that is because of our cultural practices. We did not believe in eat or being eaten. We believed in live and let live. And I can definitely say that, you know, it has been a great opportunity to express myself in a very small way. And it is very apt to have this women's forum in a town which is ruled by a woman. For all these years, she has been the first woman ruler, Queen Meenakshi, who has been the daughter to the father. After so many thousands of years, today we talk of equality, we talk of inheriting father, daughter inheriting father's wealth. All that has happened in our town many, many, many years back, and she is worshipped, and she will bless us to live with all glory forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Arvind, for taking us on that very vibrant exploration of the art and history and culture of Madurai. We really didn't know some of the facts that you pointed out, so thank you for educating us. Thank you. I'd like to welcome somebody very special, and the ladies here as well that you'll meet in a moment. But please let me have you meet Dr. Krishna Kumar, a preeminent oncologist, maybe a name you know from the Apollo Hospital of Madurai. It's an honor to have this very busy man for our afternoon today. Welcoming you, sir. Okay, perfect. Can we welcome this very special doctor, please? Thank you. Welcoming, sir.
I'll go with this.
Sure.
That's okay. No, that's okay. I think I'll just go with this. No problem. It's a small 4-minute one. Yeah. Hi. A very good afternoon. Apologize for the small delay. I was stuck in the hospital. So first of all, I thank the Women Economic Forum. I've been interacting with Mamta regarding various aspects of health. So this topic, when she gave me rejuvenating and bringing back a holistic life, I was wondering why she's asking an oncologist for all these things. And it was that why me feeling when she asked me to talk on that. But then later I did realize who else? Because when I was putting forward all my thoughts and my experience, she said just talk about your experience, how you rejuvenate, and then just talk for about 4-5 minutes. So I just thought I'll put thoughts together, because you know that I live amongst cancer patients morning to night. So I take in a lot of, I stress. I mean, I shouldn't call it stress. Probably it's kind of I share the stress of cancer patients. So unless I refuel myself, I cannot go back to the clinic the very next day. So it's been some time since I had to practice some form of rejuvenation and certain practices which can get me back to my forum. So I'm a son of the soil. I was born in Madurai. I did my education. I grew up with caregivers, health caregivers. My parents were doctors here since 1950. Arvind knows well. We all went to the same school. And when I did my post-graduation, I found this cancer was one field where there was dearth for medical care, and that's what drove me. I got trained at Chennai at the Cancer Institute, and there I was taught about care with compassion. So just mere care and medical science is something not just enough for cancer patients, but you need to give that or deliver that care with a lot of compassion. So Mother Madurai did accept me back in 2010. I've been heading the department at Meenakshi Mission Hospital and Research Center, and till now we've grown quite reasonably well to bring bone marrow transplant and other procedures to this part of the state for the first of its kind. So what does it feel to be a doctor? at least when I went to school, or at least my other friends who are not in the doctor profession, they feel doctor is a noble profession, it is a diplomatic profession, it's a white collar job, it brings a lot of wealth, it's a godly profession. You can go on, you can add any adjectives. But we of late realize there is lot of inbuilt stress, especially people either because of their work hours or the kind of patients and the kind of the mentoring that the doctor needs to do to his patient and the caregivers. There's a lot of stress that goes silently. It's not a physical stress but a silent stress. So then I realized what Mamta was telling me did have some relevance to me as a speaker, how to rejuvenate and bring back a holistic life. You would have read in the papers that at least in the last 6 months we've had about 8 to 10 young doctors between 30 and 45 years who we've lost to a cardiac event. So this was not known maybe about 3 decades earlier. And Arvind spoke most of what I had to speak, the diet, the lifestyle, and I think we need to seriously think how to get back ourselves into a slightly better tempo so that we lead a healthy life. So I'll take another few minutes just to say I took this shine. The shine was the theme of this WEF conference, so it was support. So I think if each and every one of you follow this SHIN and E, I think then you are going to rejuvenate yourself out of any kind of stress. So what is this? First S is support. Who are you going to support? Now, at the end of my talk, I don't mind if you would call me selfish, but please do take back these points. Who would you support? Yourself. You're right. Yourself. Support yourself. First, learn to love yourself. I think this is what I have been teaching even my children. First, learn to love yourself, support yourself, erase the negativity, and I think that's the first step to grow. H, harmonize. Again, harmonize with whom? I did go through the agenda of this. It's a lovely agenda that the team has organized this time for all of you from all parts of the world. There's a lot on yoga, right? And Arvind did speak about yoga also. So I would call it harmonize with yourself. So what do you mean by harmonize with yourself? It's something like an inner engineering, like what Sadhguru mentions in all his yoga classes. You need to engineer yourself a little bit. And of course, I'm going to again stress on the point, everybody talks about work-life balance, right? I think there is a lot of work-life balance going around. This topic goes around everywhere. In the corporate, there are certain specific hours that are supposed to be kept for yourself. In fact, I think in reality, we can cut it very short. You just try to balance it between home and anything but home. I think that is work-life balance. If you are going to spare your time between home and anything but home, that anything but home may be your get-togethers, it may be your clubs, it may be your social meetings, it may be a movie. I think still all that's away from home. So if you're able to balance and harmonize the home time and anything but home time, I think that is going to rejuvenate you and get you back. So that's H. The third, of course, before we go to the I, what are the other things that would help you harmonize or do this inner engineering? There are only two things in our, the mind and the physique, okay, the sharira and the mind. The mind can rejuvenate itself. I can tell you authoritatively as a doctor, there is enough proven neuroscience that there are two things. One, meditation, the other, music. These are two things which have been proven scientifically through studies on neurotransmitters that they can, charge your mind. And music delays, or prevents Alzheimer's disease. So this has been very well proven. So at least what do? I indulge myself in a lot of music. I've been into music from my childhood. So I encourage children, not just my children, I encourage all children. Remember, not all children, but also my colleagues and doctors. I host the annual, the ABRSM, that's the Royal School of Music examination. I host it, and you won't believe in the last 4 years, we have nearly 14 doctors who have enrolled along with myself. I also learned to play the piano. I wanted to learn a new instrument, the Western classical piano, so I go to the grade 4 and I have at least a bunch of doctors who are following me in various grades. So, and they say that after their heavy day's work, when they come back for the music classes, they find it wonderful. Physical fitness, I don't need to elaborate on that. At least 30 to 45 minutes a day, please practice at least one sport. Walking around the lake area, chatting, relaxing, and coming back and having a good cup of sugary tea is not going to make your physique any better. What I mean by physical workout, I mean serious physical workout, 30 to 45 minutes a day, please. Okay? I'm not telling anything about the ladies. Please don't call me a male chauvinist. Even I know our guys who do that, because there is a ground right next to my house. People walk and then come out and have a nice hot coffee, samosa, idli, all those things, and there are a huge set of chaat shops. So you can guess for yourself whether you're going to do yourself any good or not. Be inclusive. So once again I would just say, be inclusive of what? There are only two things to be inclusive of. One is with the society, which I need not teach the WEF. They do enough and more for the society, for not just the women, but in total. So we have weekend get-togethers, like Arvind mentioned. They have been concentrating on so many heritage walks, but with your family. Once again, I would come back to that point called as family time, and I think that is something you have to be inclusive of your family first, which is going to rejuvenate yourself. Nurture, yes, good thoughts amongst, once again, selfish, good thoughts amongst yourself, then good thoughts to the people around you. That I think is going to uplift anybody, and that if you follow the S, H, I and N, you will automatically do the E, which is empower. So empower once again yourself with a lot of passion. Develop new passions like what I told you, meditation, music, with good mental and physical health by putting your interest into some form of sports. And then probably as a doctor to myself, I should say that empower myself to give care with compassion. So I think if you follow this S, H, I, N and E, we are going to rejuvenate ourselves, get a healthy mind, healthy body, a fit person, and I think that is going to be the first step to progress without any limit. Thank you, WEF Forum. My first interaction with all of you, it was lovely. Thanks one and all.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, Dr. Krishna Kumar, for sparing the time and for sharing that absolutely valuable, the nuggets of wisdom that are very digestible. Because when a doctor says it, you listen. So we were taking notes. But you've really reinforced our values of shine. We've been having this conversation all day today. But thank you for reinforcing and enriching our shine with your doctor's point of view, your scientific point of view. Thank you for adding to that vocabulary. We'll quickly hear it from two lovely ladies. I welcome Alpa Shah. She's a social entrepreneur, an author, and a TEDx speaker. She's a finance professional. I welcome you, Alpa. Please join me in welcoming Alpa Shah.
Thank you, and from Dr. Krishna Kumar, I have learned two things: love yourself and support yourself. I completely vouch for every woman to be financially literate, because if you understand regarding your financial planning and money management, no one can really fool you. In fact, women live longer than male, and women needs to control everything which is in their life, including money and health. Well, the nominee, the succession planning, will drafting, all the government schemes which are favoring women, they must know. They must know what is power of compounding and investments, because if you invest your money 5 years late, you are half rich when you retire. So that's the power of money. And money is not to buy materialistic things in your life, but money is to lead a very, very confident, dignified life. And that is the reason I promote women financial literacy across the globe. I have visited even Riyadh and I've seen that women need this. We are not only here to spend money, we are here to really do something much better with money and our family. So women who are financially literate, the families prosper much more faster. And that is what the case study says all about. If you educate one woman, you educate the whole family, the whole generation. And that is the reason financial literacy is extremely integral part of our life. One more thing which I would like to empower women here is that please never underestimate your own capability and understanding. Even if you are a homemaker, you are working women, whatever it can be. Money management, no one can beat us. So please take the complete charge of your entire family's finances and money management, and then you see how your family is prospering. And last but not the least, ensure that all your dreams and goals are achieved with proper financial planning. In fact, when I spoke in TEDx, I spoke about youth empowerment and women empowerment through financial literacy, because nations are built only and only when women are empowered, and women are truly empowered when they know exactly what to do with money. Trust me, my book, Every Woman Should Invest, is available on Amazon, and it's only having true life stories of 18 different types of women. Please, I'm so sure if you'll buy one chapter of those 18, you will find that this is me and what have I done with my money and my life. So thank you so much. I encourage all of you to please come forward and learn about money. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alpa. Thank you for rising to the occasion and helping us rise with you. Welcoming Khushnuma Khan. She's an advocate and a solicitor, a proprietor at KK Associates. Welcoming you. I think are we having a little snooze? Afternoon snooze? Are you tired? No, right? Okay, we're going to do a little bit of moving around in a moment. Right after Ms. Khan addresses us. Here we go.
Good evening, everybody. It's an honor to be here to address the most powerful gathering of females. Thank you, WEF, for inviting me to say a few words. I know that there's a time constraint and I am allowed only 2 to 3 minutes to speak. So not taking much of your time, and thanking all my co-speakers. Coming from a legal background, I know how tiring it is for the women to be at home as well as at work. While we are speaking about the holistic lifestyle, it is much more important for we women to have a holistic lifestyle. Today, women are in every walk of life. They are at home, they are into business, they are into service industries, they are into profession, they are entrepreneurs, they are into environment, they are medical. Women is everywhere. So when, it's not that a woman was not into power, but we were always there. But only thing that what we have done is we have not realized our capabilities and our strength all throughout. This inspiration had come through several women who have achieved and reached some positions in their life. We being inspired through their lives, the most inspiring woman in my life would be my mother. Though she was a woman at home, but I have inspired through her because I have seen that a woman being at home is not only a homemaker, but she makes the life of a child, she makes the family grow. And similarly, when we are out to work, we are also encouraging and empowering our own colleagues, our own subordinates. We try to make and build the life, and in all that process, it becomes very stressful and tiring for us. At the same time, we forget to live our own life. We start living the life of the others. But then it's important that we live a holistic life. Doctor just now mentioned that what all we need to do about staying a holistic life, how our mind and body should be in one sync, how we have to lead a very healthy life, and he has given some good prescriptions at the stage free of that were free of cost. It was just a very good piece of advice which he has given to us, that how the life has to be lived. Since the time is up, I would not take much of the time, and I thank you very much.
On that note, we'd like to felicitate this absolutely inspiring set of speakers. I invite Dr. Harbeen Arora. Meira Levy, would you join Harbeen in giving away the awards, please? She's been presented a Woman of the Decade Award in New Delhi last year, so it's an honor for us to have you with us as well. Inviting Arvind Kumar Shankar to please accept his award as an Exceptional Leader of Excellence at the Women Economic Forum for the cultural ambassador that he is and for the work that he's been doing for over 3 decades. Calling upon Dr. Krishna Kumar to accept this honor as we bestow upon you the title of an Exceptional Leader of Excellence for the work that you do in oncology and healthcare. Inviting Alpa Shah to accept this honor. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we need to rise. Please stand up. Please stand up, because I am certain you're all sleeping. Wake up, good morning. Khushnuma Khan. Please put your hands together. Please stomp your feet. Stomp your feet. Let me hear the sound of your feet stomping. So would you please come up to the front for a group photo? And the rest of us, we keep standing.